Katie Allen, 21, who killed herself after being jailed for dangerous driving, was berated by inmates day she died. A UNI student who killed herself in prison had been berated by other inmates, a court has heard. Katie Allen, 21, took her own life within months of arriving at Pullmont Young Offenders Institution, near Falkirk, for dangerous driving. A joint inquiry is investigating the death of Katie and that of William Brown, 16, after both were found dead in their cells in separate incidents at the Young Offenders Institution. The inquiry heard that Katie, from Clarkston, Glasgow, a third-year geography student at Glasgow University, was jailed for 16 months for dangerous driving while over the drink limit on March 5, 2018. A court had heard after drinking cider at a pal's birthday, Katie had been driving back through the Glasgow suburb of Givenagh, when she clipped her car wheel on a curb, puncturing the tire. She lost control of the car, mounted the pavement and struck a 15-year-old boy who was out running, leaving him unconscious with a broken ankle and fractured eye socket. Her family say Katie was full of remorse and devastated by the accident. As a first offender, they say they were told by their lawyer that the chances of her being sent to prison were next to nothing. They were stunned. They were stunned when she received a 16-month detention sentence. She was initially taken to Corntown Vale Prison, Stirling, telling a nurse when she arrived that she had previously self-harmed by cutting herself on the wrists. She was transferred 2 days later to Pullmont YOI, near Falkirk. She suffered from eczema and the hair loss condition alopecia. Within 7 weeks, her solicitors emailed the Scottish Prison Service requesting she be seen by a doctor immediately for the condition, and was by then showing visible signs of baldness. Her earliest date of release was November 2, 2018, but she could have been eligible for release on home detention curfew on July 3. In Pullmont, she was prescribed medication for her eczema and alopecia. Between March and her death in June, she attended 15 drop-in formal drop-in sessions at the junior jail with Charity Barnardos. Designed to build positive relationships with other young people in Pullmont. She also received regular visitors but was twice subjected to strip searches by wardens. Just the afternoon before she was found dead, she was visited by her mother and brother. The inquiry was told that it was a matter of agreement that at the end of the visit, her mother, Linda Allen, told a prison officer that Katie was being berated by fellow inmates and was terrified. She was last seen alive by prison staff at about 8:10 p.m. that day, June 3, 2018, watching television in her cell. She said hi to a prison warden. She left a handwritten note on the desk in her cell, and handwritten letters to her mother, grandmother, and a friend were found on her bookshelf. She had lost more than a stone in weight, 7 kilos, during her 3 months in Pullmont. Second suicide. The inquiry heard that William, also known as William Lindsay, was sent to Pullmont while still legally a child, just 4 months after the tragic death of Katie. After being in and out of council care, in secure accommodation and with foster carers. He had a history of making suicidal statements, had told a teacher he was going to kill himself, had been removed from a train, intoxicated, after saying he wanted to kill himself. And in May 2017 he was taken to the emergency department of the Royal Hospital for Children, Glasgow, after being seen on railway tracks while stating he was suicidal. 7 months later he was taken to A&E after trying to cut his own throat with a knife and was twice found by police attempting to get himself struck by cars. He was found hanged in Pullmont YOI, on October 7, 2018. This was less than 4 days after a sheriff at Glasgow Sheriff Court remanded him in custody to Pullmont on charges of having a knife. He had walked into a police station carrying it, as well as police assault and statutory breach of the peace. the inquiry heard was sent to prison despite being still only 16 after repeated attempts failed to find him a bed in a secure children's unit in the prison system failed. No secure bed could be found. The sheriff who remanded him said he posed a potential risk to public safety. William told a social worker who spoke to him in the court before he was taken to prison and had asked if he was suicidal, "No, not now, but I don't know how I'll be in prison." Avoidable deaths. Crown Counsel Ian Halliday said that on the day of his admission to Belmont, William was initially placed on 30-minute observations, but taken off them the next day, October 4, 2018, after a case conference assessed him of no apparent risk of suicide. He was found hanged in his cell less than 72 hours later. Ms. Allen's parents, Linda and Stuart, both family solicitor Amr Anwar, as he made a statement on their behalf, saying they believe that the SBS has no accountability for the avoidable deaths of young people. Saying that while the Crown Office found evidence to pursue a criminal prosecution against the Scottish Prison Service, but Crown immunity prevents them from doing so. Deborah Coles, Executive Director of Inquest, backed their call to lift Crown immunity, adding, "The deaths of Katie and William really should shame us all." A SBS spokesperson said, "The loss of any person in our care is devastating and we recognize the profound impact it has. Everyone who enters custody is assessed to identify what support is needed." They said it would be inappropriate to comment further given the FAI. A spokesperson for the Crown Office said, "We acknowledge that the wait for these proceedings has been too long and has caused distress for Katie and William's families. The FAI will allow a public airing of all the evidence at which families and interested parties will be represented. The families and legal representatives will continue to be kept updated as the inquiry progresses." A Scottish Government spokesperson said, "Our thoughts are with every family who has been bereaved by suicide in prisons. Fatal accident inquiries are a matter for the Independent Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. We cannot comment on these cases with the approaching fatal accident inquiry and we will carefully consider the outcome."